Hello, my name is Jade Leonard. Today is April 21st, 2023. Today I'm going to be doing the skeletal video for anatomy, module 4. So there's my note card, and let's get right into it. So the skeletal system includes bones of the skeleton, as well as other supporting structures such as cartilage and ligaments that are going to interconnect and stabilize the bones. Then we have some different classifications of bones. So they're classified according to their shapes. These include sutural, short, irregular, flat, long, and sesamoid. Sutural bones, they're going to be small, flat, kind of oddly shaped, and they're going to be found, like, for example, along the sutures of the skull. Short have a small box-like appearance. So, for example, in our carpal bones there, irregular bones, they have complex shapes that are sometimes short, flat, or have like rigid surfaces. Flat bones are going to be thin and flat. And then long bones are going to be long and slender. And sesamoid are going to be small, round, sort of like oval shaped, and they're going to develop inside tendons near joints. So the skeleton is divided into two divisions. We have the axial and then appendicular. So axial skeleton consists of 80 bones. It includes the bones of the skull, thorax, and then vertebral column. Appendicular bones consist of the remaining 126 bones, and that includes bones of the limbs, pectoral and pelvic girdles that are going to attach the limbs to the body. So starting with the axial division, let's start with the skull. The skull has 22 bones. So we have the frontal, occipital, ethmoid, sphenoid is over here, and then we have the two parietal lobes and two temporal ear area. Facial bones, we have the vomer, we have the mandible, maxilla, zygomatic or your cheekbones. Then we have the nasal and the nasal concha. We also have lacrimal inside there, and then the palatine inside there. Moving on to the vertebral column, it consists of 26 bones. So there are 7 cervical vertebrae at the top. The next 12 are the thoracic, and then the final 5 are the lumbar. We also have the sacrum and the coccyx, which is the tip of the tailbone. There we go. All right, so ribs. There is 12 pairs of ribs, so 24 total. Sternum, and sternum ends with this little piece called the xiphoid process. Lastly, we have the auditory ossicles. So there's 6 of those. You can't actually see them here, but they are the malleus, incus, and stapes. And finally, we have the hyoid bone, which is going to be kind of like back there. Alrighty, so moving into the appendicular division. So the upper division is going to be our pectoral girdle. So we have the scapula, or the 2 shoulder blades. We have the clavicle, or the 2 collarbones. Beginning with the arms and hands here, we have the humerus. The radius is thumb side, ulna is pinky side. And then we're going to get into the carpals. So let me just see how I can do this here so you can see. There we go. All right, so the carpal bones, we have the trapezium, we have the trapezoid, capitate, hamate. Moving down, we have the scaphoid, lunate, triquetrium, and the pisiform is right on the pinky side there. Then we have metacarpals. So on each hand you have 5, and they're going to be numbered 1 through 5. And then we have the phalanges. So those are going to be, there's 28 total, and there's going to be the proximal, middle, and distal. with the exception of the thumb there. Moving into the pelvic girdle, we have the coxal area, which is like your hip bones area. So that's going to be the ilium, ischium, and pubis. Oops. And then going into the legs and feet, we have femur is like your thigh bone, patella, kneecap, the tibia, and then fibula is the outer one. Tibia is this thicker one. Then going into the feet, we have the tarsal bones. Let me just get this so you guys can see. It's a little bit bright, but we have the calcaneus, which is like your heel. We have the talus, the navicular, cuboid, and then we have medial cuneiform, lateral cuneiform, and intermediate cuneiform. So then going into the metatarsals, there is 5 on each foot, numbered 1 through 5, and then we go into the phalanges. So again, we're going to have the proximal, middle, and distal phalanx, with the exception of the first toe there, which is only going to have the proximal and distal as the thumb. All right, let me just fix this there. So that is going to cover the 206 bones of the human skeleton. So now just going into a clinical application of this. So I want to get into the cosmetology or the cosmetics field, and sometimes in doing haircuts, or a lot of the times actually, stylists will base different cuts and measurements based on the bones of the skull. So anatomy is very important in that field. For example, your occipital bone is a field of measurement, parietal lobes, as well as frontal. It is good to have a basis of the bones of the skull, as well as the facial anatomy, such as how high someone's cheekbones are, to do different lengths, shapes, and everything with cutting and styling. So like I said, in cosmetology, they follow the bones of the skull to shape haircuts, to measure lengths, and to measure angles as well from various points based on the different bones of the skull. So yes, anatomy is going to be very important to me in my future field, and I will use the anatomy of the skeleton, especially in this area, to do haircuts and such. So thank you for watching.